Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Clouds. This is episode number 2. I'm here with my co-host, Declan, and our special guest, Sammer. Y'all might recognize him as being the finishing up of the trio of the AZ Vape Life admin bros. So, just like last time, we're going to do a product comparison thing. We're going to talk about some advocacy stuff, and then we're going to get the hell out of your hair. So first up, we got a product review today. You want to introduce them?
You can.
Okay. We're going to compete the drag versus the Aegis. Now, have you guys used both of these already or no?
Yeah, I used the OG Aegis, but yeah.
Okay, word. You?
Yeah, I've used both of them.
All right, so I actually just used the Aegis for the first time like 2 minutes before we started recording. But what are your thoughts on it?
I think it's pretty solid. Like, it's had terrible battery life, but it was durable as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing's durable. My biggest gripe is how hard that battery tray is to put the batteries in on the bottom.
Yeah.
It's struggle bus, but I mean, that comes along with it being, so sturdy. It locks it in tight seal. So it totally makes sense why it is like that. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
So I noticed when I was just putting the batteries in this just a minute ago, it's kind of weird that like there's not like a spring or something on here. Like you have to like push it to get it to come up, then you have to put it down, and then you have to move the. There we go. Yeah, you have to click it back in to make it go on. But again, like it's whatever. Like that's not something that's going to affect your every puff use.
Yeah, and I'm sure after longevity of use, that's just going to get even smoother, or you're just going to get used to it. So.
Well, it's still an upgrade from the OG one, because the OG one was literally just screwed in.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, and this one does have a colored screen too, which is pretty cool about it.
I don't know why I'm showing that to the camera. You're not gonna be able to see it.
A little bit more upgraded. But yeah, like Sam said, it is a little bit, on battery life, not the best.
So one thing I do like about this is like the little like leather. I don't even know if that's real leather or not, but feels good in the hand.
Yeah, and the colorways are awesome too. We have a rainbow one, and even the stitching's rainbow on it, which is pretty cool.
Oh, nice.
So with every other different color variation, the stitching's a little bit different. So there are I think there's 7 or 8 different colors. So there's something out there for everybody color-wise too.
Hell yeah. So moving on to the drag. Seen an awful lot of these around. I actually personally have 2 of them. I see he has one.
I have one. It's on my desk.
So one thing I like about the drag is that it's just it's everything that I feel like a mod should be, with no like fluff or bells and whistles or anything like that. Like it's just a solid, sturdy mod. It's got a good chip in it. But like at the end of the day, I really do feel like we've come to the point now that no mods are really better than any other mods. It's just you put a couple of 18650s in it, attach a tank to it, and go wild. So
the thing I did notice about the drag mod is it fires down to 0.10 of a second. So as soon as you hit that button, that coil is cooking, and it's the closest thing I've been able to find to like a DNA. I may trigger some people saying that, but I mean it's definitely up there. And I don't know if you've used the software that you can plug into the computer and stuff, but you can do the ramp up times and all that stuff to get the exact hit that you want.
And
it's
the DNA's had those too, right?
Yeah, and it's super user friendly with the drag, really easy. But like I said, and like you said, no bells and whistles, nothing too fancy with it, not a whole ton of menus to scroll through or anything like that.
Yeah, and like I'll be honest with you, like I don't use temp control, I don't build coils, I don't do anything complicated. Like I want my vaping experience to be like as simple as possible.
Yep, just plug and play.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And the drag is phenomenal for that. But honestly, for me, like the thing that attracted me to it in the first place was the little color thing on there. I don't even know what that's called, but
resin.
Okay, yeah. The resin thing on there looks cool. Everyone's a little bit different. It's the type of style that before this we only got from like Stabwood and stuff like that.
Right.
Which is obviously hundreds and hundreds of dollars. For those of you that know me, I just can't endorse anything that costs that much unless there's like additional like usable functionality, which I really just don't think exists anymore. But one thing that made me like a firm believer in this is it's actually, this mod I have right here, you can see it's kind of scratched up on here. It's scratched up like that because I dropped it on the ground and then ran it over with my car. And as you can see, like it still works. And like, so I'm sold on that.
Were you doing the Kiki challenge? Is that what it's called?
No, I wish. Yeah, no, that's on my pay channel, bro. No, but no, we were getting stuff ready for an event, and I was carrying like several boxes, so I just put everything that was in my hands on top of it, and something dropped off. I didn't notice it had fallen off until I had already, like, I'd gotten down the street a little bit, and I was like, shit, where's my mod? Turned around and went back and got it, and my tank glass was cracked and my batteries were out of it and the battery case was off of it, but I put the batteries back in, put a different tank on it, put the battery case back on, and it worked.
See, and that just goes to show the sturdiness of the 510 in there, because, I mean, if you said you smashed your glass, it's obviously, going against the glass, it hasn't pulled the 510 out of there. It's still intact, and it still reads fine. Yeah, the only problem with it now is, the paint is scratched. So, so I'm going to have to go ahead and give it a 2 out of 10 for inferior paint. No, I'm totally kidding. So honestly, I feel like this was almost an unfair competition going in, for me at least, because I have never tried anything that I like mod-wise better than the drag. And that includes stuff that's, hundreds of dollars. And these, what do these retail for at your shop? They're
Ballpark.
$50-$60 range. Yeah. Really inexpensive.
Yeah. So it's all the things that, we've come to expect from mods that cost a couple $100s, but now all of a sudden it's just affordable for everybody. So yeah, at the end of the day, honestly, for me, it's the drag wins, but you're not going to go wrong with either one of these.
Yeah, especially because this one kind of adds that water resistant aspect to it. I could see this one, right. If you're more of like a construction worker or kind of outdoors all day sort of thing, that water resistance is really nice. Or even for the pool party.
Well, my biggest thing is even if it's water resistant, the tank's not water resistant. You drop that in a pool.
Well, I mean, it's only your coil.
Yeah. You're not going to fry your mod, because the mod is generally the more expensive piece. So I don't know. In Arizona here, we don't really have to deal with water very much. So, it's a cool feature, but I didn't even know that existed until Declan just said it just now.
Yeah, it's not going to make it or break it for me, honestly. I mean, I'm super careful with my mods anyways for the most part, but I have dropped, my drag multiple times. It stood the test, but, I mean, the battery life on the drag is phenomenal. Just everything about it is my favorite, so.
The nice thing about it, too, is no two resins the same.
Yeah.
So even if we had the same colored boxes, the patterns of them are going to look different.
Yeah,
anyways.
yep, and then with the silver one, too.
Actually, these two are relatively similar. Mine's got a little bit of yellow in it, but yeah, I mean, I think they would both call those the same color.
Yeah.
But yeah, totally different still.
And if you're picky about the paint peeling off, kind of like this one, they do have, the stainless version and the gold as well that doesn't pull off. So
the gold totally does.
Does it?
Yeah, the gold. I was actually disappointed to hear this too. Not actually made of solid gold. Yeah, it is, and the gold actually scratches up even worse.
I wanted to melt it down and make some teeth myself.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right, so there you have it on that. We will be talking about Tobacco 21 right after this.
Horrifying discovery in a Harford County neighborhood. Body parts strewn across 2 different blocks.
One man was chewing off another man's face.
David, the staff here says they haven't seen anything close to the sheer volume of casualties.
We are receiving unconfirmed reports right now of random acts of violence.
Have there been fatalities?
Excuse me, please. I'm sorry, I have to go.
And I saw this woman in the road. She bit me in the arm. Scratched up my face.
The president wants to make it perfectly clear that this is not a case of bioterrorism. This is a minor, containable situation that we expect to see fully resolved in 24 hours or less.
And we are back. Hope you enjoyed that awesome commercial for, I don't know yet.
Something good.
Yeah, something good. Yeah, we always do the commercials after the shows, so I have no idea what you guys just saw, but I'm sure it was great. Either way, so unfortunately, this is the serious part of the show. We're going to talk a little bit about advocacy. This week, we decided we were going to talk about the Tobacco 21 laws that are either passing or being proposed, pretty much all over. For those of you that don't know what Tobacco 21 is, basically, it's the general term for laws that would raise the age to both smoke cigarettes and vape from 18 to 21. They've been trying to do this on a national level. They've been trying to do it on state levels. For example, California passed it. They've done it at city levels, county levels, all that stuff. There's is it Cottonwood? One of the little cities in Phoenix passed it.
Oh wow.
It was either Cottonwood or maybe Wickenburg. I don't remember, to be honest with you.
I can see it being Cottonwood though.
Yeah, I think it was Cottonwood.
Yeah,
Don't quote us on that, but yeah, I think it was Cottonwood. But either way, so the whole idea behind this is because, unless the traditional high school student graduates high school when they're 18 years old. So they're saying that if you can be 18 years old to buy tobacco and vapor products, then a high school senior could buy it for their sophomore or freshman friends, and that's a way that these products are getting into the hands of children. And don't get me wrong, everybody on both sides of this issue agrees that children should not be vaping, should not be smoking. I think the difference in opinion comes from the fact that the anti-vape advocates would prefer that nobody has access to vapor products, including adults, rather than any risk that any kids could potentially have it. Well, those of us on this side of the aisle think that there is multiple ways that we can do things where we can decline usage in children while keeping the products readily available for the adults that need them. So that's our little fight. Honestly, the way I see it is the Tobacco 21 thing is not working in the places that it's passed. The vaping ages, or I'm sorry, the vaping rates in minors have gone down by a little bit. However, the smoking rates have gone up. Because basically that just says to me that it's easier to find an adult to buy you cigarettes than it is to find an adult to buy you vapor products. I'm not going to say which one is better for kids to do, but the basically what it just turned into is kids have, since I was a kid, when I started smoking when I was 14, and it was somebody over the age of 21 that was buying it from me at the time. So Tobacco 21 would not have stopped me from smoking. But yeah, that's basically where we stand. So thoughts?
I mean, the way I look at it is you're going to get it if you want it either way. So whether or not, you're buying cigarettes or you're buying alcohol or buying vapes, whatever it is, if you want it, you're going to find someone to get it for you.
Right.
And even if you look at the age of 21, like a minor still get alcohol. There's not really... That's not proven to be
that's actually a solid point. Yeah, like it's already 21 to get alcohol, and like I don't know about these newfangled kids these days, but because it turns out I'm actually old. I'm 35, so that makes me like a dinosaur in the vape industry, I think. But like when I was in high school, I had no problem getting alcohol, even though you had to be 21 to buy that. So,
right, and I kind of take a look at things from like a retail standpoint, just because I work in retail all day. It'll just be a lot more difficult, like obviously we always check IDs in retail, but it'll have to be twice as much, and I could even maybe see prices hiking up just a little bit because you're not getting as many people through the door a little bit. So I mean, I could see prices maybe fluctuating a little bit in the market, but I mean that's just me. That's the way I think.
Another issue with it too is if you did raise the age of 21, what about everybody under the age of 21 who was already smoking and vaping and whatnot? What are you going to do for them? Are they going to quit cold turkey?
I've always that's another problem that I've had with just like a lot of the anti-vaping people in general is just it's basically like the nicotine equivalent of like the abstinence only sex education, where it's like here's what you need to know about nicotine, don't use it. And don't get me wrong, if people worked like that would be great. Like nobody should use nicotine. But so that's why it pisses me off that kids vape in general. It's like this is a product that's supposed to take people who are already addicted to nicotine and transfer them over to like a less harmful alternative,
right?
To combustible cigarettes.
Yeah, and that's kind of like with our conversation last week about marketing and stuff like that. That's why we have to play it smart, not to advertise towards kids. More adult marketing, just so people who don't vape nicotine don't need to get involved in that.
So I have a compromise I would like to offer because I don't know if you knew this, we have a ton of anti-vaping advocates that love our show.
Yeah, I'm one of them.
Ask them if they want to sponsor.
Yeah, right. Yeah. This episode brought to you by Don't Vape.
Mothers Against Vaping.
Right. Yeah. Right. But so here's a compromise for you guys, because if the whole point is to take if we want to compromise between kids not having access to these products and still letting adults and current nicotine addicts have access to them, let's do this. Turn Tobacco 21 into actual Tobacco 21. Make it so you have to be 20. Hell, make it so you have to be 25 to buy cigarettes. I don't care. Like, I was still an idiot when I was 21. You know, I made bad decisions. I made more bad decisions when I was 21 than when I was 20, actually. Alcohol did play a part in that. But I'm just saying. But leave vaping out of it for now. And honestly, like, if we want to grandfather something in, you know, say 3, 4, 5 years from now, we change that, so just any nicotine, that's great. But, you know, like Sam brought up a minute ago, if you're a 19 or 20-year-old who's been smoking cigarettes like me since I was 14, and they just say everything you have to be 21 for now, it's going to be easier for me to find illicit cigarettes than illicit vapor products.
Right, and then, you know, if it's easier to find, you're going to pay, you know, more for it to get in bulk because you don't want to, you know, hit up your contact a lot often. That's giving more money into the pockets.
Yeah, if I'm buying a pack a day, I'm not trying to, like, go to my contact every day.
Right, yeah.
To my cigarette dealer.
Yeah, your cigarette dealer.
Well,
but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we can laugh, but that's exactly what it is.
You're just putting more money in the pockets of big tobacco, and that's, you know.
Not even that. You also risk like the issue of diseases being spread because if someone's desperate enough, they're like, oh, cool, like someone didn't finish half their cigarette, like, or just pick up the refry. Like,
Yeah. So, if you know, we are actively working to try and find solutions that will make it harder and harder and hopefully impossible for kids to get a hold of vapor products and cigarettes. If you have any ideas, drop them in the comments. Like, we actually do read those. So that's kind of cool. So. Either way, what else, you guys got anything else on this?
No.
Well, I just think it's crazy that, you know, Juul's being sued by a mother because there was a Juul in a school or something.
Yeah,
like,
dude, and I gotta say, like, Juul, I'll say this. I understand why kids use them just because of how small they are. And, you know, they don't make a fat cloud when you use them. But I think saying that Juul is marketing to kids is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen their marketing. Their marketing is actually far more adult than most companies.
And see, I went back on all their marketing just because everybody was accusing them. I went all the way back to, you know, when Juul first started checking them out, and I didn't see anything that, you know, was...
Nothing.
No, nothing at all.
If anything, a Juul would turn me off from starting to, then start.
Right.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah,
Like,
and now they're doing it the correct way as well with, you know, their nicotine warnings all correct on every single one of their social media posts, and I can appreciate it, and I commend them for doing the right thing.
No,
honestly.
that's definitely awesome that they're doing that. You know, honestly, I'd say, like, one of the biggest, and tell me if I'm wrong here, guys, but I feel like one of the reasons that Juuls end up finding their way into kids' hands so often is because they are primarily sold in, like, C-stores, gas stations, and stuff like that. I think that people who work in gas stations are not nearly as passionate about stopping underage use as, you know, folks like both of you actually that work in vapor retail. You know, I feel like it's a much bigger deal for us. Like the guy in the gas station, like, you know, if you walk in and you say, yeah, I need some taquitos and I need this fountain drink and I need a pack of cigarettes and then a fill up on pump 5, like, you know, he's kind of all over the place and he doesn't really care about any one of those things. Like when you walk into a vape store, you're there for one reason. You know, you want vapor products. Now, obviously, that could mean juice or hardware or coils or whatever. But like, but it's there for a specific reason. And the people that own and operate those shops care very much about the industry for the most part, at least.
Right.
So, either way, I think we're almost out of time. I can see my little light on my camera beeping. So
that's a timer.
Yeah. The segments have to be a certain length. What? So either way, thank you for checking us out on Beyond the Clouds.